the thing that is most misunderstood about sports radio is its function. It's not that you're supposed to look. There are shifts, there are day parts where if you want to get into the minutia, if you want to talk about cycling and what they do on special teams and all the other things that go into it, all the details that go into being an NHL team, there are shifts for that. There are hours of that. That's not what a morning show does. That's what a morning show isn't supposed to. I'm supposed to call someone or bring the coach on who will explain those moves. I bring the general manager on. I can bring on one of the players. This is what hosting a morning show does. I'm hard pressed to think that going to work for a job that you hate, for a boss who sucks, for you getting yelled at every day and maybe not getting the money that's worth it to you. Maybe you have a hard day where you're outside every day. Hey, there's a lot of people in Western Canada that listen to that show that weren't just from Calgary. They were also from Saskatchewan. When these guys would be out working the fields and so on. They wanted to get some laughs in with a little bit of the sports. So what you want to do is be an entertaining guy, and hopefully you have the chops to actually do that. And then on the other side, you call someone who can explain all those things better than I can, better than any probably morning guy can, because there's a reason why they're a morning guy, because they were probably, for the most part, in broadcast and maybe not a great athlete. Look, my background is weird. It's different. I played at a very high level of sports, but I also started doing stand-up when I was in grade 12. Freak and weird. I was a goalie and a drummer. All the weird stuff that goes into this brain where I hear the voices. I'm sitting there looking at a football game. All of a sudden, I hear Peyton Manning going, what he should have done. What he should have done was you got to pull that back. You got to make them read into when you're going to play action pass. You don't just run with it, dummy. That's not RPO. This is what goes on in this head. This is what I have going on. Bob Cole,
I get it.
All kinds of stuff is going on there.
I don't even think it's weird.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
And what was it like coaching the Panthers in the 90s at the old Miami Arena? And he said it was in a bad end of town, and the police told him, when you come to a red light around the arena, don't stop. Keep rolling through because they'll come and steal your car. And he was driving an 86 Toyota Corolla. So he said he came up to a red light, and he didn't stop. He rolled through the red intersection, and some local yelled at him, "Don't worry, we wouldn't steal that piece of garbage."
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
That was a Doug MacLean story, the old Florida Panthers coach. I heard the funniest Panthers Doug MacLean story yesterday, told by Jeff Rimmer, the former voice of the Panthers. It drops later today on the Cats and Bolts podcast. But here today, welcome on up inside. It's the RP Show, coming at you live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio in Atlanta, and, of course, live streaming on YouTube and podcast form as well. Listen, I got tired of listening to myself all week with Moose on holidays, so we brought in the heavyweights today. Mike Kelly, the former CFL head coach in Winnipeg, offensive coordinator at Edmonton, Philadelphia Eagles quarterbacks coach. Mike Kelly's going to be with us in hour two, along with Jared Dunbar, hockey analyst, and Kirk Myers, Canadian curling champion. We welcome here in hour one the voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors, James Gallo, joining us from the Band City. I might add the Western Hockey League champion Moose Jaw Warriors. James, how are you, buddy?
Great. It's always nice to start the morning talking to the voice of the Moose Jaw Miller Express. The only exception is when you're mentioning heavyweight. I haven't been in the gym that much, so is that a shot at my weight or not? But I'll take the compliment.
Your own shot. Yeah, Saturdays are for the dad bod. As you know, I got to get some Moose Jaw Miller's gear up here on the back rack here in South Florida. That's what I got to do. But we're going to give James the opportunity to do something he doesn't do that much, and that's sports talk. It's different than play-by-play, people. I don't have time to explain it, but that's what we're going to do here. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Gordon, and we'll fire it up. Blah, 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 blah. Trust me, we're going to get to the dub and the Warriors and stuff in a second, but we're going to open with hockey. It's a Canadian show. And, James, I know what it's like. As a play-by-play voice, you're not following other leagues. It's tough to look around anything other than your own team. But we're going to open with the NHL for a second here. The Toronto Maple Leafs have stretched their win streak to 3 straight games Bobby McMahon scored twice, and Austin Matthews got his first of the season as Toronto beat the LA Kings 6-2 Wednesday night. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, I watched this one, a milestone night for the Penguins, a couple of them. Sidney Crosby recorded his 1600th career point. Evgeny Malkin scored his 500th goal, and Pittsburgh edged the Buffalo Sabres 6-5 in overtime. I don't think you and I ever talked about this. When you and I are together, we talk baseball or junior hockey. Who's your NHL team? Do you have one?
You know, I don't really have one. You know, I grew up oddly enough in small town Saskatchewan. I grew up a Quebec Nordiques fan because of Joe Sakic.
I love it.
You know, moved on to Colorado when they moved there. But you know, when Joe left and retired, I just kind of put my allegiances to the boys, right? So you know, try to watch Tampa Bay as much as I can. You know, obviously Morgan Riley in Toronto, Tanner Jeannot following his career, Brett Howden his career. I watch the boys. That's kind of what I cheer for. Is I want to see them have success.
That's the thing is in what I do here, and I don't know if you ever want to do what I do, James, but people look at me as a freak because I'm like, I get you. I hear you, bro. I cheer for players, not teams. People don't understand that. So, hey, but I always like asking that question. Who is your team? You don't meet a lot of Quebec Nordiques fans, as you well know, probably. So it rolls us into the poll question today. Or EMJ marketing. The poll question is this: which winless NHL team is in the most trouble? Or who should be the most concerned? It's I got it written down here what their actual records are. San Jose Sharks, I think they're 0-2-1. Vancouver Canucks, 0-2-1. Nashville Predators, 0-3. Or let's just say your Colorado Avalanche, 0-4. Which of those teams do you think should be the most worried or in the most trouble?
Everybody except San Jose, right? San Jose with Macklin Celebrini, they're in a rebuild mode. I think they get a longer leash. The other three teams are teams that have high expectations for the year. It's early. It's 4 or 5 games into the season. You know, it's not going to make or break them right now. Those are teams that could go on 5-game winning streaks tomorrow. So I don't know how worried they would be, but I would say in those 4 teams, the only one that gets a pass is San Jose.
It's funny you say that because Jersey Jim Behringer, who was in that role yesterday, in that window, he co-hosted with me yesterday from NHL Full Press in Jersey. He said the exact same thing today. Sharks get a pass. Nobody else does. So these are guys that follow hockey and know what they're talking about. Scott in Vancouver writes, and he says the Sharks were expected to be bad. Tony in Cochrane, Alberta. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta writes, and he says, good morning, y'all. Can't believe the Flames are undefeated, but it's early. Listen, we'll get to that in a second. I'm not done yet. John in Edmonton writes in and says, Rod and crew, do you think the Oilers can win tonight in Nashville? I want your take on this, James. And again, junior hockey, WHL's James thing, but I know you're keeping a casual eye on the National Hockey League. I think about this. The Avalanche not that far removed from winning a Stanley Cup. Jared Bednar doesn't have anything to worry about at all. But I look at Nashville, 0-3. Signed Steven Stamkos. Signed Jonathan Marchessault. Signed Brady Shea. Got Juicy Swaros signed up long-term with Andrew Burnett, a second-year coach, and a first-time general manager, Barry Trotz. Now, James, you've been doing Warrior games for, you're older than you look. How many years is it you've been doing Warrior games?
This is year 25.
Oh, okay. You can compare this to what's gone on in Moose Jaw, a wonderful hockey town, or don't, because you don't want to incriminate anybody. I wouldn't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
But my point is, Barry Trotz, a very successful Stanley Cup winning NHL head coach. I'm sure he's won Jack Adams as Coach of the Year. He's now the GM in Nashville. His first ever GM job. And I've been around the Predators here for preseason games in the Southeast Rookie Showcase. Do you see where I'm going here? Not that he would fire Brunette and put himself on the bench, but nobody can ever do the job as well as you in your mind. And I don't know if Barry Trotz is that guy or not. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like I would agree. I don't think Barry Trotz is anxious to get back on the bench. I mean, he took a long time to get into his position, taking over from the longtime general manager in Nashville. I think he's happy in his position. What Barry Trotz can do in his position is basically set the overall culture of the organization. And, it starts at the top and he's at the top. So he has to lead by example. Is it different being a head coach and a general manager? 100,000,000% it is.
Sure.
Because you can grab the guys that you want, but it's your coach that's got to put them all together. You have influence, you have input, but it's your coach that puts them all together. There's pressure on Nashville, right? You named all the signings, all the new acquisitions. This is a team that's expected to try and capture their first Stanley Cup, whether it be this year, next year, but somewhere down the line. There's pressure on the Nashville Predators. And, Barry Trotz, I think he's a great hockey mind. I think he's a phenomenal coach. He's assembled a really good team, but just give it some time. Again, I'm not one to hit a panic button 2 weeks into a regular season, even 3 weeks into a regular season. There's new faces in new places, finding new roles and learning new structure, new systems. Ask me a month and a half from now if the Nashville Predators are 6 games below 500. Okay, maybe take a look at it then. But right now, again, I'm not one to hit the panic button right away.
You're good at this sports talk, James. Really, but it's different than play-by-play. It's different, isn't it? It's different. You're just calling a game.
Yeah, it's so
when you're doing a
different.
game. This is different. Yeah, I didn't even realize
the
until I started
biggest
doing this.
It's
Go ahead.
very different on how you approach it, but it's basically taking a lot of the conversations that you have off the microphone with your peers and putting it on the microphone in this environment. But at the end of the day, Rod, they're the same. In my job is to be entertaining. That's my job. I can tell you what's on the ice and tell you the story, what's going on the baseball field. I can tell you the story, but at the end of the day, my job is to be entertaining, which is what your job is to do right now, to be entertaining.
We certainly try. 1,358 episodes into this perilous show. We really do try. And I just want to say this. I hope people were really listening to what James was saying. 25 years as the voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors. He knows what's going on. And when I was at that Southeast Rookie Showcase last year with all the just rookies, is one step up from a development camp, James. I was talking to Predator staff, some of their friends of mine for years. They said the difference in approach under Barry Trotz versus David Poile, the guy that he replaced. They said Barry is very vocal, very hands-on, and very visible. David Poile is not that. But David Poile's in the Hall of Fame. Like, it's not like David. There's just different ways to skin a cat. DuPont hates when I say that because he's afraid we're going to offend somebody, but he's not here. So there's different ways to do the job. And I also want to say, I saw Nashville play here in a doubleheader in the preseason with the big guys, Stamkos's debut, and they could look like they wanted to be anywhere else but Sunrise playing the Predators, and that was a month ago. And unfortunately, they started the season that way. So, wiki. It's a different conversation as to who should be more concerned. The team, maybe the coaches should be a little concerned. But as James says, it is very early, and Barry Trotz knows that. Now, before I go on, I follow the WHL pretty closely. I love the 10 WHL Things column we're running on our website right now, rodpeterson.com. I looked up the standings this morning, and I thought the Moose Jaw Warriors were in second place, James. And then it turns out I had the newspaper upside down. You're in second last place. Tell Ripper I said that. What's 3-5-1, you guys?
Yeah, but look at the numbers, right? 7 points and sitting, in 10th, 11th place in the Eastern Conference. Win 2 games and you're now in third or second place in the Eastern Conference, right? It's that tight. The Eastern Conference this year, Rod, it's a mixed bag of nuts, right? I think everybody. Preseason polls would have had Medicine Hat right up there, and I think that's deservedly so. I think they've got the most exciting player potentially in the Western Hockey League with Gavin McKenna. There's high expectations on that Medicine Hat team. Now, they've had a lot of injuries that they just maybe haven't found their right footing yet. But after Medicine Hat, everybody kind of said toss a coin. right? I mean, I know Brandon's another team that can get on a roll. Saskatoon's off to a great start, and credit them for what they've been able to do to go 7-1, 7-1-1, I believe, in their first 9 hockey games. So, it's early, right? And I mean, for Moose Jaw, for us, I would view it. This is not a position from the team, but I would view it. The expectations are not this year what they were last year, right? I mean, last year this is a team expected to do what they accomplished, and that was win a Western Hockey League championship. This year, you try your hardest to make the playoffs. That's obviously the goal. From there, you see what can happen, but it's also a development year. You've got some rookies, you've got some guys who were with your team the entire time last year, but as rookies, they didn't get the minutes last year that they're getting this year. So now it's time to do with the opportunity that you have. So it's a growing issue, I think, right now. The other part too is this team has just not been a great starting team. I mean, this time last year, kind of hovering around 500. Just kind of in cruise control a little bit. The team didn't really take off until maybe December or even after the World Junior break when they got all their bodies back. So this team traditionally is more of a second half team, but they got to find some success here in the first half to set up what could be a good second half.
The voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors, James Gallo's with us. James Gallo riding shotgun with the Moose on vacation, but only until tomorrow, because I'll be gone. And Moose is going to be hosting as I board a jet plane and come back to the 306, hosting a banquet Saturday night with Lorne Mulligan, former Warriors coach, Rough Riders great Bob Poley, Paralympic curler Gil Dash, and somebody named Larry Mueller. So, yeah, we're switching roles tomorrow. I appreciate James jumping in to talk some sports with me today, and it's been fun. I knew that it would be. Scott in Vancouver writes in, he says, David Poyle was an excellent GM. We're not saying he wasn't. He's in the Hall of Fame. Just saying. Barry Trotz has a different way of doing things, and I'm getting that from the Predators staff. That's got nothing to do with their 0-3 record. But
one thing, Rod, when you go back to Nashville,
yeah.
I mean, Barry Trotz has got to grow into his position as well. I mean, give him a long runway here, right? I mean, the guy's accomplished a lot. Don't assess Barry Trotz as a general manager through, a training camp and the first 2 weeks of the regular season. Give him some time, right? I think he's earned some time. Right. And I think that's what patience is the thing. David Poyle casts a large shadow in Nashville. Give Barry Trotz just a little bit of time.
Well, it's funny. Patience is the toughest lesson we'll learn in life, James, just so you know. It's the toughest lesson we'll learn in life. And I work on it every day. I'd love to sit with your boss someday and talk about that, Jason Ripplinger, because I haven't quite got. How do you ignore the noise is my point from the fans and the media. Your general manager's got 2 WHL championship rings, 1 Memorial Cup ring. Not listening to the noise is something we try to fine tune. It's not that easy. And nobody's saying Trotz is in trouble. Nobody's saying Brunette's in trouble. But here we are sitting talking about an 0-3 Nashville team as they get set to host the Edmonton Oilers tonight. We get plenty to come on the other side of the break, just for those that joined us late, to map it all out. Again, I got tired of talking to myself. So we brought in Gallo today. In hour 2, Mike Kelly, the former Blue Bombers coach. And just so you know, we're going to talk about Nathan Rourke and his problems in BC. I had a football coach here in Florida, Coach DeBuck, write in yesterday and say, Rod, who's your top 5 CFL quarterback? Who's your best non-quarterback player? I'm like, whoa. I don't want to answer this right now. So I brought in Mike Kelly to help with that. Jared Dumba's going to talk some hockey with us in hour 2. You know Jared, James. And Kirk Myers as well, Canadian curling champion. So we'll take a timeout. I'll just say Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in. He says, I get it's early, but sometimes starting slow can bury your season. Depends if you have the guys to dig yourself out of a hole or not, which I think we agree Nashville does. So hang on.
Yeah.
And there are people that want to talk about the 4-0 Flames, and you know what? They deserve the pub. So we'll talk about that and more when we come back. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, the former home of the Flames in Atlanta. Live streaming on YouTube and, of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Broadcasting live from beautiful Boca Raton, Florida. It's hard to get out of here, but I will be for the weekend. Who doesn't like going home? For the nearly sold-out event in Wolseley Saturday night, I'll give you some details later on how you can join us. There's only 40 tickets left. First ever sports celebrity dinner in Wolseley, Sask. Our poll question is brought to you by EMJ Marketing, transforming your audience with powerful presentations from EMJ Marketing's elite speakers. Check out their website for their roster at emjmarketing.com. We can bring James in now. And the text line, which we'll get to right away, is brought to you by Alitura Skincare. Alitura, as sports fans, there's nothing we love more than a comeback. In the game against wrinkles, scars, and acne, it's never too late to revitalize your skin with Alitura Naturals. Check out their website at alitura.com. Use promo code RP20 for 20% off your order. And on that text line, Darcy's watching in Grand Prairie. James, I won't ask you to... James Gallo with us, the voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors. He says the Haitian community approves of your skinning a cat reference. Whatever. It's just it's a phrase, and Moose doesn't like it, but he's not here, and he's afraid of offending people. I'm not. Now, James, I got an interesting comment for you. Question for you. As we move on to point 3, we skipped over tonight's NHL games. I'm going to come back on that in a second. There are 10, I believe. Point 3, a Super Bowl rematch, another London game, and a first-place showdown in the NFC North highlight Week 7 in the NFL. There are 6 home underdogs, too, and that includes tonight's matchup at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. as the 2-4 Saints host the 3-3 Denver Broncos. Denver favored by 3. You and I have had enough conversations that I know you're not the biggest football guy, but are you NFL or CFL, neither or both?
You know what? I would say I'm probably, Sundays are important when the Bills are playing. Let's put it that way. There's not a lot that I get revved up about, but I've had plenty of arguments with my two girls at home, and they frustrate me because I tell them we're a Bills household, and they tell them they're a Kansas City household because they're Swifties, and I've thrown my hat at them several times. I don't like it, but we are a Bills household, or Bills. Sorry, Bills household. Did you just take the off ramp to Crazy Town on this discussion? And I'm here for it. By the way, Tuna Turner, our producer, do you have a sound effect for James being a Bills fan? Because as I recall, you are too, Tuna Turner. Do you have a sound effect for that? Oh, wait. He's a Cowboys fan. Yeah, I would say
he's from Hamilton.
Tuna and I have had long conversations as well. I think he needs to be a little bit more embarrassed about being a Cowboys fan than I am a Bills fan, because we're 4-2.
I apologize. I should have known that. I go around and ask everybody who their favorite team is. Sometimes I forget their answer. And I forgot Tuna's from from Hamilton, which is a CFL town, but he's more of an NFL fan, so I get it. But I was thinking about this morning, because as I was running on the treadmill, I was listening to Howard Stern. You know what they were talking about? Taylor Swift and the Chiefs and the Super Bowl and Travis Kelce. And quite frankly, it was, are those two going to stay together? And who's older, Kelce or Swift? You know, the people that talk about relationships, not the actual things that matter, which is sports and what goes on the field. But as far as your two kids, they're NFL fans, I'm guessing, because of Taylor Swift. Like, last year, the whole conversation was, why is this a thing? Maybe we're starting to find out why.
My wife tried to get me, last year, the videos where someone was videotaping their husbands about how Taylor Swift made Travis Kelce famous, and I lost it on her. I didn't like that. but you know what? I agree with you. I know a lot of people, a lot of sports guys or sports individuals didn't like it because of the extra press and, everything that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce brought. I thought it was great because for the reason you just said, you know what, on Sundays now doesn't matter what football game's on, even when the CFL's on, like I still enjoy watching the Riders play. My two girls will sit there and watch and ask questions about football. More eyes on the product is a good thing. And if you get those eyes because of Taylor Swift, take them. Right? Like if somebody was dating, if a Moose Jaw Warrior was dating a famous singer and it resulted in more people paying attention and coming to Moose Jaw Warrior games and it got more press, I'm all for it. Right? I mean, if it brings more eyes and it brings more attention to your game and to your product, and as long as, it's healthy and positive talk, I'm all for it. It's great in our house. I love it.
There is no way you got out of bed today and thought you'd be talking about this on the RP show. By the way, me either. Just so you know, that's the charm of this show. So hang on. Randy from Winnipeg writes in. He says Denver 13, Saints 10. It might be a bad game. I don't know. But if that's the case, the Broncos will have covered. John Ohm. Bear with me. John Ohm says, Swifties unite. I'm not a Swiftie, but it is what it is. Scott in Vancouver says, don't be surprised if the Broncos pull out a win tonight. The Saints have a lot of injuries on the offense, and the Broncos D is really good this year. Every show's talking about that. Even Howard Stern's talking about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. But if you don't mind me asking, how old are your kids, James?
13 and 10. So my 10-year-old,
okay.
she's the big one, right? So, but again, I like it because she's interested, and to me, if it took Taylor Swift to get people interested, I'm all for it. To get my family, anyways, it's good for me.
Here's my point. So when it's a beautiful thing that your kids are involved because of Travis Kelce and the Chiefs and Taylor Swift. You understand they're going to be heartbroken like all the rest of us sports fans when the day comes that the Chiefs cut Travis Kelce or Taylor Swift and Kelce break up. Like, you realize life's coming, right? In the fandom, that's ahead for them.
But the other part of it too, Rod, is I don't think the Chiefs will cut Travis Kelce because I think Kelce he's gonna retire on his own terms. It's not just that. Like, I mean, I also think, like, look what Travis and Jason Kelce are doing with their New Heights podcast. I mean, it's bringing personality back to sport, and I think, to me, that's sometimes what we lack is just. We look at Jason Kelce last year, going and supporting his brother and jumping into the stands out of the suite and having a good time, going and, tailgating with fans. I mean, they're showing personality. We need more of that in sport, obviously, as long as it's positive. But, to me, it brought more spotlight to those brothers who, from what I can tell, I don't know if there's any controversies with them, but they're having fun. And at the end of the day, sports are a game. They're meant to have fun, and that's the thing. And with life, I don't think the Chiefs are going to cut Travis Kelce. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I think he'll go on his own terms. He's made enough money, and him and Patrick Mahomes just doing their thing. That's pretty tough to let go of a guy like that.
Well, I feel like you and I could go down to Deja Vu Wings and continue this conversation over my favorite, which is Maple Buffalo Ranch. And honey mustard. What do you get at Deja Vu Wings and Moose Jaw? If you get wings, what do you get? What flavor do you get?
More of a garlic parmesan type of guy. I'm more of a dry sauce, a dry or rub. I guess would be the way to put it.
There's no wrong answer to this. I'm just, it's a very small percentage, as you know, of people in sports, and for that matter, media too, that leave on their own terms. Very small percentage. Has Travis Kelce earned that? I guess we're going to find out. But just, he's got a lot of options open to him, as you say, with the acting and all the rest. Tony in Cochrane says the Slime Time NFL show is for kids to get into it. He says, enough of Taylor Swift already. Gag me. Bomber Boy in Calgary writes that he says Jordan Love making his case for league MVP earlier than last season. Go Pack. John in Edmonton says, what's going on with the New York Jets? They've won only 2 games and lost 4. If you haven't been paying attention, John, they fired the coach. He's the problem. So they say. I did like the comment I saw the other day that Aaron Rodgers is trying to become the NFL's first ever player, coach, and general manager, all rolled into one. Before we do move on, do you have a take on that saga of what's going on with the Gotham Green?
Well, first off, it didn't work on the other night because lost to the Bills. Let's go there. But both teams are doing their best to try and lose that game, it seemed like at times. But, bringing in Devontae Adams, bringing in other former Green Bay Packers, it looks odd, but you can't put all your eggs in one basket. I know a lot of people can, but Aaron Rodgers, I think, you can't give someone too much influence. And to me, it seems like Aaron Rodgers has a lot of influence on what is going on. And as last year showed, Rodgers could be a hit away from being gone for the season. And what do the Jets do then? Right? They're a good team. That offense I think it's fun to watch. They were fun to watch the other night. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest of this generation, I think. He can lead them as far as he can take them. But again, I agree. He kind of seems like he wants to be quarterback, head coach, and general manager. And you know what? I think Jets fans would let him if it led to success.
Yeah. Well, I don't see that coming, though. By the way, a note to our producers and operators in Atlanta on radio and Toronto on television. We'll just be a couple of minutes late in this segment, but not too late. I don't want to keep James too long. How much time have you got? 4 more minutes, James? 5 more minutes?
All the time in the world for the voice of the Miller Express.
Okay, well, thank you. And by the way, Joe Gunnis is writing in, the social media guy of the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Great to see James Gallo on. Go Warriors, go Millers. And hello, Allie from Texarkana. Game day for your Stars. They're at Washington, which I want to play my NHL breakaway bets with you before we break. You do your picks, I'll do mine. But do you have a take as a play-by-play guy on Jerry Jones going off on the 2 Dallas radio hosts on the rights-holding radio station. Are you following this at all on Tuesday? Threatened to fire them because he didn't like their line of questioning Tuesday morning?
Not a ton. Not following a ton. Know a little bit about it. Not a fan. I think they're just trying to do their job. I think I think it's catch-22, Rod. As you know, when you work for a team or with a team, or being a radio guy that has working with the team with the right holders, you do have to walk a line. Right. But in the same sense, too, I've been fortunate enough to work with coaches that they understand you still have to ask certain questions. And, you probably lead them in just a little bit. You maybe give them a little bit of softballs. But, I'm not a fan. I think Jerry's maybe got to revitalize his franchise by maybe finding someone new, because it's not the 90s anymore.
Allie in Texarkana says Jerry has lost it. LOL. Yeah, he has. Yeah. He's 83, but he ain't going anywhere. So here we sit.
Yeah.
Right, Tuna? Okay. Breakaway bets in the National Hockey League. We got time. Well, it's 10 games, so we do kind of got to go fast. I'm just going to say, no big deal. Went 4 for 4 last night. Jersey Jim, 2 for 4 last night on our picks. Okay, James. Devils at Ottawa tonight. Who wins?
Devils.
Great, because I've got Ottawa. They're hot, if you haven't noticed. Vegas Golden Knights at the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. Who do you like?
Point versus Howden. I'll go with Tampa Bay.
Perfect. I'm going to take Vegas. Sorry, everybody in Tampa. The Vancouver Canucks look for their first win of the season. They're at Florida. Who wins tonight?
Florida.
That's 2 of us. Dallas at Washington. Stars here.
Dallas.
That's what I'm saying.
Dallas.
Yeah, you too? Okay. You're welcome, Allie. The Los Angeles Kings at Montreal. A rematch of the 1993 Stanley Cup Final. Kings at Habs tonight. Who wins?
Los Angeles.
Yeah, because they got spanked in Toronto last night. They'll be upset. That's a thing. I appreciate the viewers writing in with their picks, too. Buffalo at Columbus. Toilet bowl.
Columbus.
Columbus for me. Okay, 2 of us saying that. Rangers at Detroit. Original 6 matchup.
Rangers.
I'll take Detroit. Perfect. Islanders at the Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Okay, I'll take the Islanders. And I actually believe it, too. I'm a Patrick Waugh fan. Oilers at Nashville. What do you think?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I know.
You know what? I'm going to go Oilers. I think, on that one.
Game of the night, probably, bro.
Yeah.
I got to take Preds to get off the snide. San Jose Sharks at the Chicago Bedards. I know you love Connor Bedard. So who are you taking?
Chicago.
Okay. Me too. I know you can't get enough talking about Connor Bedard, James. And Philadelphia at Seattle tonight. Well, who do you like, Philly or Seattle?
Seattle.
Oh, an emphatic win for the, Riker Evans scoring his first goal. I'll take the Flyers just for fun. James will tally these all up, and we'll see how it goes. And the winner will be bought Deja Vu wings by the loser. What do you say? Next summer in Moose Jaw.
It's a deal. I like that.
Okay. Great job, James. I appreciate it, man. Thanks. Go Warriors.
Anytime, Rod. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Our co-host today is the voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors, the reigning Western Hockey League champions. We're going to break and come back with a sports update, viewer takeover, and then Mike Kelly, former Bomber coach and Philadelphia Eagles quarterback coach in hour 2. I'm going to answer all your football questions. Jared Dumba joining us to talk hockey, and Kirk Myers to talk curling. That's all in hour 2. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, live streaming on YouTube, and also Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Now the race is on and here comes pride in the backstretch.
Celebrate 40 years of Sawyer Brown.
Some girls don't like boys like me.
With Shenandoah.
You got to get me to the church on the Cumberland Road.
Plus special guest George Fox. Saturday, October 26th, Moose Jaw Event Center.
I'll take the dirt road.
Tickets are on sale now at the Moose Jaw Event Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
6 days on the road and I'm
Sawyer Brown and Shenandoah live.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors. There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life. Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
RP Show continues on this Thursday. It's my Friday. Hour one brought to you by Culligan. Drink clean, live green. Filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit culliganregina.com. Next hour, we will be joined by Mike Kelly, former quarterbacks coach of the Eagles. Did some nice things with Donna McNabb there, wouldn't you say? Blue Bombers head coach, too. People are excited about that. And Jared Dumba to talk some hockey. But I'm here for the viewer comments right now before we jump into a sports update on this Thursday. Tony from George Fox Country writes in, he says, love what the Blackhawks are doing. Mixing proven veteran winners with the young guns. Hawks are my original six team. And he says, yes, I'm that old. I know a lot of people that have just become Blackhawks fans because of Connor Bedard. But I know what you're saying. I mean, you say your original six team. I had to think of who was mine. And I kind of would have to go with Chicago, too. It ain't the Leafs. Yeah, maybe Montreal. I love them all. Not Boston. Not the Rangers. Not Detroit. So we're running out of teams. It's probably Montreal. I'm not sure what this is. Allie in Texarkana, you're going to have to explain. I'm not sure I want to know, but she says, I wouldn't never mix business and pleasure. To what are you referring? And, you know, it's interesting. I'll be thinking a lot about James Gallo's interview earlier with us. Co-hosting wasn't even really an interview, where he said sports needs more fun these days. And he said Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, and the two of them going to each other's games, and Jason ripping his shirt off and jumping into the crowd. Yeah, sports does need more fun. But you know why there isn't? Everybody's so damn afraid. See, at least the people that I know are. Jason Kelce's retired. He doesn't care anymore. He can rip his shirt off, get drunk, do whatever. Didn't see him doing that when he was a player. Travis Kelce can do pretty much whatever he wants, but he's won 2 Super Bowls, made his million. And that's the players. But I look at the staff members. Look at those 2 guys in Dallas. They got Jerry Jones on the air on Tuesday morning, coming off the worst home loss in the history of the Jerry Jones era, 49-7 to Detroit. And they just ask him what happens and why he didn't do more to improve the team. The owner goes off and threatens to fire them on the air in front of everybody. I don't want to name the team, but a lot of you will know who the team was, but they put what they thought was a very special center ice logo when they painted the ice here last month. And everybody was excited for an unveiling, and staff member took a picture and put it on social media. Got fired. Well, everybody's afraid. There's no fun. Or you just do your job and you can get fired. That's where it's at. That's why it ain't fun anymore. That's what I see. Fun for us here, but we don't work for a narcissist. Allie says, I was responding to a big fan's question about Taylor Swift. Yes, I was out of that conversation, and I feel like I'm going to stay out of that conversation. John says, I can't wait to see my Winnipeg Jets Friday. Jets rock. And Scott in Vancouver says, how about those Flames? Like right on time. Who's got the better team, the Jets and the Flames? I think we know the answer to that. You know, and furthermore, this is why I wanted to bring Mike Kelly on an hour too. Not, it's fun tap dancing on the air and on the television, answering people's questions live. A lot of guys in this position and gals wouldn't have the balls to do it. But there was so many questions coming in yesterday that I was like, let me just give a minute to think about this for a second. And with the Flames, yeah, I said I'm not surprised that they're 4-0, but I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs because they're in year 1 of a rebuild. You don't make the playoffs during a rebuild. We know this, right? Why they're winning is kind of going against the schedule, but it's all good. You know, it took until December for the Flames to even figure out Ryan Huska a year ago. So they're ahead of the game. I hope Ryan Huska is around to see the results of this rebuild. I really do. That doesn't usually happen either. But the Jets aren't rebuilding. They're retooling. And you all should be very grateful in Winnipeg that you have a contending team every year. You're not Dallas. Allie's Stars are like contending to win the Stanley Cup every year. Pretty much in the conference final or Stanley Cup final every year. That's another level of they know what they're doing. But in Winnipeg, at least you have a consistent contender in the playoffs. And I would think that in Winnipeg right now, because I've been there, you're just waiting for the playoff, right? You know you're going to be there. That's kind of what we were thinking as Cowboys fans, at least I was. We know we're going to be in the playoffs. We've had 3 straight 12-win seasons. But then the roof caved in, and even that's not going to happen. And look at this. I talked and didn't even have time for the sports update here. On the Alaterra skincare text line, Kirk in Toronto writes, and he says, hey, Rod. Oh, no Rod on a football Friday. Caught last Friday's show on our way up to the Madawaska Valley for Thanksgiving on my son's iPhone. Well, I appreciate the dedication, Kirk in Toronto, but I'm flying back to Sask. Who doesn't like to go home? I see the temperature is going to be like 20 Celsius, whatever that works out to, like high 60s Fahrenheit. Going to be a nice night. It's almost sold out. Having a big fundraiser with my good buddies, Lauren Mulligan, Bob Poley, Gil Dash and Larry Mueller are going to fill the place. So I'm going to be on a plane tomorrow. Kind of looking forward to that. And Moose will be back. He's on a plane today, returning from his vacation to Indonesia. Probably somewhere that I won't ever be. So you'll hear all those stories tomorrow. When we come back, we will get to that sports update. The Alaterra Skincare text line is open. 902-518-3033. And we'll tell you what else is going on in sports when we come back. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, live streaming on YouTube, and, of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
RP Show continues. We had so much fun here in hour one. We didn't even get to a lot of what I planned to. Hockey teams, are you looking for just the right place for your team bonding sessions and outings? Look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. State-of-the-art equipment, spacious shooting lanes, and games for all ages. Overtime Hockey Lanes is the perfect destination to build your team Whether you're from the Calgary area or if you're on a road trip from out of town, book your lanes today, 28th Street, Northeast Calgary. And I love Alberta. I mean, I love Saskatchewan. That's home. That's why I'm going there this weekend. It's a very large part of my personal business model to do these fundraisers. But Alberta's great, too. Ron in Calgary writes in on the Elapera Skincare text line. Morning, Rod. The Flames do have the depth to be a playoff team, but we are way early to be planning a parade. I'm just surprised as most and happy with their performance so far. Exactly what you should be doing. Listen, if they made the playoffs, that would shock the world. It is year one of a rebuild. You don't make the playoffs at any point in a rebuild. Just enjoy it, and you are. John from St. Albert, Alberta writes in, and he says, since you're not there tomorrow for Football Friday, the Elks on the 25th are going to give Chad Kelly a spanking he rightfully deserved. Ooh. Fighting words. Hang on. Yeah, I don't get this one. Bomber boy. Since last season, the Jets had elite 5-on-5 stats. Very poor special teams. This season, their special teams are elite, and their 5-on-5 are bottom of the league. Fun. I don't get this 5-on-5 thing. I was thinking about it this morning while I was doing dishes. Why do you guys go off with this 5-on-5 stuff? It's not what wins you games. Special teams wins you games. Goaltending wins you games. Depth wins you games. I see it all the time, and it makes me want to puke. 5-on-5. So I've never, ever heard that till like the last couple of years. Coach Matthew DeBuck writes in from the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs. Still waiting on my helmet, Coach. Says, met CFL legend Darian Durant yesterday. He came to our practice. Great guy. Between Duran and Darian, both love Canada, and especially Sask. Great job, Sask football fans of the CFL. What about me, Matt? Regarding these teams, Ali in Texarkana says, Utah, Darren says, Utah lost in overtime to the Ducks last night. Yeah, I was 4 for 4 in my pick. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, a man of Rod's status doing dishes. Number 1, what is my status? Number 2, you've met Serena. Or you've at least seen her on the air. Oh, I got to be quick. Sports update as mentioned. The Canucks continue to hunt for their first win of the season tonight as they visit the Stanley Cup champion Panthers in Florida. Vancouver's 0-1-2 to start the new campaign. Elsewhere, the Kings are in Montreal to take on DeBuck's Canadians. Sens entertain the Devils, and the Oilers are at Nashville. The Mets need a comeback after a pair of misplayed grounders turned into unearned runs for the Dodgers last night. LA capitalized on the mistakes and got a 410-foot homer from Shohei as they routed the Mets 8-0 to take a 2-1 lead in the NLCS. Aaron Judge and the Yankees will look to push the Guardians to the brink today. New York is up 2-0 in the best of 7 ALCS. Sports updates for Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, Joker, Folie à Deux. From acclaimed writer-director Todd Phillips comes the much-anticipated follow-up to 2019's Academy Award-winning Joker, which earned more than $1 billion at the global box office and remains the highest-grossing R-rated film of all time. Joker, Folie à Deux in Landmark Cinemas now. CFL fans and you, Coach DeBuck, are going to love the next segment. Mike Kelly joins us, former Eagles quarterbacks coach and Bombers head coach. Coach Mike Kelly next hour. Right after the break. Also, Jared Dumb and Kirk Myers coming up after this brief pause here on Game Plus and Key Radio.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
So what was it like coaching the Panthers in the 90s at the old Miami Arena? And he said it was in a bad end of town, and the police told him, when you come to a red light around the arena, don't stop. Keep rolling through because they'll come and steal your car. And he was driving an 86 Toyota Corolla. So he said he came up to a red light, and he didn't stop. He rolled through the red intersection, and some local yelled at him, "Don't worry, we wouldn't steal that piece of garbage."
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hour 2 of your favorite daytime sports talk show, coming to you live across Canada on the Game Plus TV network, airing in 31 U.S. states on television, on the radio in Atlanta as well, 99.1 FM WQEE, and streaming for those inclined. It's weird, because we covered all I wanted to in Hour 1. Last night's NHL games, tonight's NHL games. We talked about the World Series matchups potentially. The League Championship Series are on the way. We talked about Thursday Night Football tonight. Broncos at Saints, and will the Broncos cover? Probably. They're favored by 3. And, hey, we got Bomber fans that have written in. They got questions for our next guest, Coach Mike Kelly, the former quarterback, Philadelphia Eagles quarterback coach, Blue Bombers head coach, Eskimos offensive coordinator. Coach Kelly, how are you, sir?
I'm great. You filled up everything in the first hour, so you might as well come to me. I'm that guy, a fountain of unwanted knowledge. Here we go.
What you noticed was I didn't bring up the CFL last hour because I was waiting for you. And I got people writing in with all these questions and comments that I'm not entirely comfortable answering live on television. But the thing is, Mike, you've never been accused of being shy, I don't think, in your life. And I've seen you with your comments on social media about CFL things. I'm like, well, let's bring on Coach, and let's have at it. So week 20 in the Canadian Football League. I haven't even talked about it at all today. Football Fridays tomorrow. The game of the week. Let's just start there. Voted by the viewers was Ottawa-Toronto on Saturday afternoon. It decides second place in the East. There are only 3 games, but that was voted game of the week. Do you agree with that?
Every game is a game of the week. I got a kick out of a few weeks ago where people were saying that the Montreal-Winnipeg game would have no significance, and I put out there that every game has significance. And now here you are. If the Rough Riders have gone on a run now, and they have a chance to win the West. And so, you just never know. And, I was in 2009, we were in a game just like Ottawa and Toronto were playing. If we beat Hamilton, we secure second place and a home field advantage or a home game in the playoffs. If we lose, we're out. That's an important game because that securing that home playoff berth is huge. I think that is a really important game this week.
I'm talking to a football guy. He's going to say all the games matter, of course. But I got the game notes email from the CFL for the Hamilton Calgary game Friday. I was about to click on it. I'm like, why would I read that? I don't care. So, listen, I'm working it around to what I think is the game of the week. Montreal to BC Saturday night because the Lions have made a quarterback change. But something just popped into my head. I thought of you. One of the leagues, is it the NFL or college, came up with a new rule that if you're going to do an onside kick, you have to tell the opposition first. And I thought of you. You did it to open a game against us, in 2009. What did you think of that new rule?
Yeah, no. Well, people thought I was nuts, and I probably am. But our very first home game in 2009 with me as the head coach was against Calgary, who was the defending Grey Cup champions. And we opened the game with an onside kick, got it, and ended up winning the game. And, I think that's a great tool in football. And the fact that people want to play nice now and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. This isn't curling where you're just talking about what you're doing out in front of everybody. This is football. There's supposed to be some mystery to it, and you're supposed to be technicians. And in June I was the head coach of the U.S. national team in the Federation World Championship, and I think we kicked off in the 3 games that we played. I think we onside kicked 3 times and got all of them. And it's a great weapon, and I don't understand the thinking on it whatsoever. I just don't get it. But
I'm sorry, I got my own off.
That's probably. Sorry.
I got off track here, and that's my bad. I got off track here. That's my bad. I just thought of you when that rule change came out. No, to the CFL, yeah. I'm dying to get this. Nathan Rourke being sat down this week. I want your opinion on the way the Lions have handled that situation and how you would have handled it.
All right. So, look, Rick Campbell was I worked with him in Edmonton. I brought him to Winnipeg with me, and I've obviously known his father forever. And he's got a good football mind, but I think I would have approached it completely different. There's no denying that Nathan Rourke is a talented young man. You can't deny that. But he went through 4 NFL coaching staffs that decided that he wasn't good enough. And if you want to put it any other way, that's what it comes down to, that he just wasn't good enough and fit what they wanted to do. Okay, 4 teams. That's a lot of evaluation going on. Now, in 2022, when he won Most Outstanding Canadian, he didn't play the whole season. So you only had a small, encyclopedia on him. But once again, and I've talked about this before, if there's a quarterback and he has a maple leaf on his chest, the media is going to go absolutely berserk over it, and the fans do too. And you look at the Ford kid in Edmonton. Everybody wants Russ Jackson. Where is Russ Jackson? Why hasn't there been another one? And so Nathan got this cloak put on him that he was going to be that next one. But in the beginning of the year, the Lions were playing pretty darn good football with Vernon Adams. And he was in conversations to be the most outstanding player of the year. And they had it rolling. And then they brought Nathan back. And now all of a sudden there's a shift there. And I saw the thing the other day where Vernon was getting the team fired up before the game, and Rourke was standing in behind. And you can say all the pretty things you want to say. I've never seen that in my life. And I was in football my entire life. To have your so-called backup quarterback being the guy that's leading the team, and I would have taken a different approach. Rick said this week that they have two starting quarterbacks. Cal Murphy used to say, if you think you have two starting quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. And I know Hugh had success with Wilkie and Warren, but Warren was the guy. Wilkie was the stepping guy. Cal had success with Tommy Clements and John Huffnagel. There was no doubt that Tommy was the starter. John was the backup. All right, and so Vernon was playing well. Your team showed cohesiveness. They were playing at a high level. I think he had a great commodity there to make your entire team better. And I would have used Rourke as trade bait to get at least this year and next year's first round picks and 4 players that could come in and help their defense. Because right now their offense is averaging 375 a game. Their defense is giving up 385 a game. So there's obviously a disconnect there. And you look at trades like, I think Matt Dunnigan got traded twice for 6 players. The Herschel Walker trade, where he went to Minnesota, and all those players that were involved in that. I would have looked to be getting at least a first-round pick in the next 2 years, and 4 players that could come in on defense and contribute and make my team better, and rolled with Vernon. And look, there's no doubt in my mind that having a backup quarterback is absolutely essential in every single level. We were lucky in Winnipeg to have guys behind Dunnigan like Danny McManus and Keithan McCann, Sammy Garza. We won a lot of games with those guys, but there was never any question Dunnigan was the guy. And
by the
so,
way, I need to stop you. I need to stop you, Coach. We do have a time limit. We need to be out at 1:16 Eastern. I got a lot of things I want to ask you, but the thing is, we shouldn't compare Nathan Rourke to Matt Dunnigan. Should we? Was this not just a huge rush to judgment?
No. You can't. Look, I'm looking at the quarterbacks that we had in the league in the early 90s. Okay, you're looking at Flutie, Dunnigan, Garcia, Damon Allen, Tracy Ham, Ken Austin. There's not a quarterback in the league except for maybe Caleros that would even fit in that conversation. And so, nobody to me is that type of quarterback that can control a game, make checks at the line of scrimmage, throw the ball down the field with real effectiveness consistently. So yeah, I'm not comparing Nathan Rourke with Matt Dunnigan in any form or fashion, but I do think that there was enough enamored thought process about him and his abilities that you could have put that bait on a hook and gotten something pretty good for it.
I get it. I just say I think we all think the Lions botched this a little and rushed to judgment, as I said. Now, Coach Matt DeBuck is watching from Cardinal Gibbons, and he says regarding the onside kick thing, he says 100% Mike Kelly is right on. So with that, and it was his question, by the way, who's the top 5 quarterbacks in the CFL right now? I told you I was going to ask you. Did you write it down?
Right now or of all time? If it's right now.
No. It was right now. Yeah. If you're not, if that's unfair,
all right.
then
yeah, no.
Go ahead.
That's again, I don't like throwing stuff out there unless I've really studied these guys. And when I was in Edmonton this summer in the World Championships, I got a chance to talk to Bethel Thompson and get to know him a little bit. And he certainly has that demeanor and leadership type qualities that you're looking for. But I think right now it's Caleros, and then you can almost put the next 4 in a basket and kind of juggle them around. But you got to look at teams that are winning. So you got to look at Cody in Montreal. That certainly would be one. I'm a big Trevor Harris fan. I have been his whole career. O'Day,
Yep.
Trevor Harris, and myself all passed through Edinboro University at one time or another, and I like his competitiveness. But again, he's getting a little long in the tooth. But look what he's done. He's got the writers pointed in the right.
Oh, I hope we get him back. I hope we get him back. Oh, we got knocked off there. He needs to log back in. Same link was given. Boy, that's bad. Caleros, Cody, Trevor Harris. Apologies, Coach. Hopefully he clicks that again and we'll get him back. I'm going to read what they have here. Tony from George Fox Country, Cochrane, Alberta, says Nathan's little brother, Curtis Rourke, from Indiana Hoosiers, would be an interesting first-round pick for the Stampeders if he's available to come to the CF. He will be. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says all-time 4 best: Bo Levi Mitchell, Jeff Garcia, Dave Dickinson, Doug Flutie. Of course, you picked all Calgary Stampeders. Sure. Okay, Coach, we got you back. Apologies for that. We got 4 minutes. You got Caleros, Cody, Trevor Harris. I like your list so far. You got 2 more to go.
Yeah, 2 more to go. It's tough for me, to be quite honest, once we get to here. Like I was saying before we got cut off here, I think that the fact that Ottawa is even in a conversation for a playoff game goes right on Brown's shoulders, and so I'd have to put him in there, and then. After that, you got to go. Hamilton's the #1 offense in the league right now, so you got to go with Bo. You got to put him in that group.
I got it. So what's interesting about that, and I'm not sure there's a real wrong answer here, but the reigning MVP of the league isn't on your list, and it wasn't on mine when I answered this last year. Like, was it missing 9 games? Why Chad Kelly's a different player than last year, do you think, Coach?
Well, yeah, certainly. You miss half a season, you're not going to be the same player, and you could throw Nathan Rourke into that conversation, missing half basically of the CFL season and being a completely different mindset and schematics. Being in the NFL and making that adjustment now of coming back into the league. But Chad's an interesting. Story and person, and I just again, people got excited with early success with him, and to me, a quarterback is about his entire library, and right now his library isn't filled up, and I think there's still some questions about his game, and I just wouldn't put him in the top 5 at this stage right now.
I agree. I didn't either. And hey, just a quick one. David, #1 in Winnipeg, because we have 3 Davids that watch and all write in. He says, Coach Kelly, I hope you're doing well. Your thoughts on the Handled Internally podcast the Bombers host created with your famous quote. Are you familiar with that? That the Bombers do a podcast called Handled Internally?
They do a podcast and they use it's me that's on it. And so I actually sent a text to Wade and said, where's my royalties? And didn't get a response back. So, I'm not quite sure. I'm glad that that's taken in its context now, and that it's been able to carry on, and I've never shied away from anything that I've wanted to say, and I'm a Blue Bomber. I know I had a short period, one year in Edmonton, and we had a lot of success, had a great receiving core. That's when Ricky threw for over 5,600 yards. But I'm a Blue Bomber, and I'm always going to be a Blue Bomber. And the fact that I can still, have some kind of influence and remembrance, I think it's kind of cool.
Absolutely, man. You earned it. It's awesome. We all remembered. It was great. Coach, thanks for this. Let's do it again, if you don't mind, in the playoff.
No, absolutely. I'm here for you, and we're not very far away from each other, so we can hook up whenever you want.
That's
okay?
right. Maybe we'll have to do it in person. Yeah, here in studio. Thanks, Coach. Coach Mike Kelly joining us from Stuart, Florida, talking a little CFL. We're going to switch over to hockey when we come back. Our hockey analyst, Jared Dumba of the famous hockey-playing Dumba family, joins us next. And curler Kirk Myers a little later on. Canadian champion. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, streaming on YouTube, of course, live, and Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, everybody, the RP show continues, and I got a question for you. Is your skincare starting rotation giving up big hits to wrinkles, age spots, and acne scars? Revitalize your self-care roster with Alitera's all-natural lineup of nourishing products. Check out their website at alitura.com. Use promo code RP20 for 20% off your order. Here's a guy that's always looking young and fresh, Jared Dumba, our hockey analyst from the hockey-playing Dumba family. Jared, welcome to the program today. And I'm going to jump right into it, if you don't mind, and take a swing at this. Our poll question, Jared, today for EMJ Marketing is. Which team is in the most trouble? Which winless NHL team is in the most trouble right now? Sharks, Canucks, both 0-1-1, I believe. Predators 0-3, or Avalanche 0-4. Who's in the most trouble?
Well, I'd have to say the Sharks, just because I don't think that they don't have the team that Vancouver or Colorado has. Even in Nashville, they're going to turn it around there. They got a lot of new faces in there, trying to figure out the room dynamic with Stamkos coming in. Those guys will all get going. Not really worried about those guys. I think San Jose would be in the most trouble just because they're young. But it's not a bad thing to have all those young guys thrown in the fire. Let them get their reps in. Let them get beat up a little bit and get hungry. Get another high draft pick, and they're only a few years away from starting to make some noise.
Well, I guess that's what makes sports talk fun, because these opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one, and most stink, and everybody's got a different answer to the poll question for EMJ Marketing, by the way. I'll just say, folks, by the way, the show moves fast. All the good ones do. I appreciate the comments on the Mike Kelly interview earlier. I'll read them later on in the viewer takeover. What if I rephrased it, Jared, and said this? Which coach is in the most trouble? Because you got Andrew Burnett there over in Nashville at 0-3. You got Jared Bednar's not going anywhere anytime soon with the 0-4 Avalanche. And I can't even remember the guy's name in San Jose. I guess he's lucky they're in a rebuild.
Yeah, they're in a rebuild. He's fine. I mean, if you had to pick one of the bottom teams, you'd probably say Brunette, because they got such good players and they're not doing anything. Like you said, Bednar's locked in there. He's got a cup ring. He's not. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. But I don't think we're going to see as many coaches fired as we did, say, last season. I think they're all going to stick around, because I think they're going to turn it around real quick. I mean, nobody's going to fire anybody before 20 games, and I think they'll all get their stuff going. San Jose will win the odd game here and there, but there's no expectations. So their coach is sitting fine. I think if there's anybody fired, it's going to be somebody taking a real dive in the kind of that mid 2/3 of the season. If somebody starts taking a dive there, you might see somebody panic and switch it up. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of coaches fired this year.
I hope you're right, and for their sake, I definitely hope you're right. And I know Jared follows the whole league. We're going to jump around here fast. He can cover it all. But we have a lot of viewers in Calgary, as you know. Edmonton as well, but we hear more from the Calgary fans, and they legitimately think their Flames are going to make the playoff. They're 4-0. I don't. Where are you on that?
I think it's a great story right now. You trade your number one goaltender away, you trade a bunch of your big guys away, and you start off 4-0, and they've looked good doing it. I've only caught a couple of their games, but they've looked really good. Obviously, really well coached with Huska there. I don't know. It's tough. They could be pushing for that bubble spot. I don't think they're going to be a shoe-in for the playoffs. The Oilers are going to get going. There's guys like the Ducks are playing a lot better this year. They're 2-1. San Jose can come in if Calgary sleeps on them. Excuse me. They could steal one from them this year. It's not going to be easy. Right now, it has been easy, but a lot of times that's because teams are looking at Calgary and going, "Oh, they're in a rebuild. They've still got some good guys, but they're in a rebuild. They got rid of this guy. They got rid of that guy." And I'm not so sure the teams haven't taken them a little bit lightly going in there. And one of their wins is also against Chicago, who's still, they've got some better players, but they're still a bottom place team.
Who everybody beats. Yeah. Well, here's another one.
Yeah.
I was watching the Pittsburgh-Buffalo game last night. It was 2-0 Sabres before most people had sat down. Tristan Jarry gets pulled, and they bring in the backup, and the Penguins rally, and Sid the Kid scores the overtime winner, his 1,600th point, as you know, if Jenny Malkin scored his 500th career goal, all in the same game. But the big word out of Pittsburgh is Tristan Jarry is just not NHL adequate goaltending material, former Edmonton Oil King. If you're Pittsburgh, Jared, and you got all this high-end talent up front who is on the back nine, putting out on 18, let's be honest, Crosby and Malkin, Erik Karlsson too, what are you doing? What are you going to do?
I don't know. I think GM's in tough there because you kind of got to listen to whatever Sid and Gino want, and they didn't want to move on, and so you can't really rebuild. You got to keep your older guys around. At the same time, Jari, man, he was so good a couple of years ago, and yeah, it just seems like he's fallen off a little bit. I don't know what to do. If I honestly, I've always liked Nedeljkovic. If I was the GM and the coach, I'd be trying to play Jari, hoping he has 3 or 4 good games in a row. Just ride him, and then see if you can get anything for him. Even if it's a younger guy, a role player, someone that can help mix in, just to kind of add to that depth a little bit. Got to shore up their defensive game a little bit too. You're not going to win every game 6-5. Malkin's on a hot start, so Sid will always be. But those guys aren't going to be able to continue that pace throughout the whole 82 game schedule. So that's such a tough one in Pittsburgh. I would just be trying to make little tweaks here and there just to add the depth, even if you had to trade more future, even though that's going to put them in a hole later. But if you're going for it for Sid and Gino, you got to do everything you can right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like Tristan Jarry's the problem in this. The bottom has fallen out on his play right now, and judging by body language last night, I think he's cooked. But if you wait until close to the trade deadline to get a goalie from a non-contending team, you're going to be out of it by then. Like Pittsburgh needs to do something now, and I don't know what that would be. Now, our hockey analyst Jared Dumba is with us. Would you mind telling our viewers if you can, your relation to Matt Dumba? What are you guys, second cousins, third cousins?
Yeah, our grandpas are brothers, so I guess his dad would be technically my cousin. I think my third cousin. Him and my dad are first cousins. So whatever that makes me and Matt, I don't know how that all works. But his brother Kyle lives in town now. He lives close. Talk to him all the time. He's in Dallas right now with Matt. He might be back by now, but he just went down for a trip. So yeah, we're I was playing pro hockey when Matt was young, and so I really didn't get to see him play growing up, and then they moved to Calgary. As soon as I came out of pro, he was getting in junior, so we never we'd see each other in the summer sometimes, but so we weren't real close and hanging out a lot. But it's kind of nice now that everybody's getting older and get to hang out with Kyle a lot and take care of his dog sometimes when he's on the road. But yeah, that's kind of the family connection there. Is we're starting to see each other a little more and more now that as we get older. But he's a great kid, good head on his shoulders. He can do anything he wants, that guy. He's just got that mentality.
Of course, he's a Dumba. But what's interesting is you guys weren't close enough that you cheered for all of his teams throughout his career, like the Stars and the Lightning and the Wild and whoever else. You are a Leafs and a Kings fan, if I may. Well, I know for sure your dad Al's a Leafs guy. You're a Kings fan. Did that hurt you last night? When the two teams met, Toronto and LA, did you watch that one?
I just don't know what's going on. It seems like Blake will make one good move, one bad move, one good move, one bad move. And, obviously the Pierre-Luc Dubois move last year was kind of mind-blowing. That could have worked out, but I think he was swinging for the fences on the last pitch with a full count. Didn't work out, obviously, struck out on that one. Now, goaltending situation, a lot of us were saying 2-3 years ago when Quick was on the way out, you got to trade some of those young guys. A couple of those, they had the number one stock cupboards in the league. Everybody was saying, everybody knew it. I think that they kind of missed the boat waiting on those guys a little bit. And some of them didn't really pan out. It was kind of clogged up a little bit there. That can make it tough on guys. It's nice to see some of them. My buddy Khalil Thomas's son, Akil, nice to see him, playing some games. He got some points last year. You're seeing a couple of young guys finally jump up. But I think they missed an opportunity to move some of those guys for a solid goaltender from, a bottom place team. I think that's really what's missing right now. Obviously, the Doughty injury doesn't help, but there's a lot of good players, but still kind of, for me, I'm a little confused on the direction sometimes. But with that being said, they do have the pieces. They get Doughty back. Maybe they do trade for a goaltender before the deadline, and all of a sudden we're talking a whole new ball game if they get into the playoffs.
And that's the Kings side. For the Leafs, Serena and I were watching them the other night. I can't remember who they were playing. She's like, this is a good team. I'm like, they always are, especially now. And to say, is this the year is just such a cliche. But is this the year?
You know what? I said this to Dad about 2 or 3 weeks ago, just kind of watching. I was going through the rosters. I was thinking about how, it might take a little time off the hop, which it did in the preseason, but they're already coming around. New coach is going to be great for them, I believe. Berube is going to really push them, and I think he'll spread out the minutes a little more, where he makes other guys feel a little bit more involved in the bottom six. With the defense they got, I said a couple weeks ago, I think this is their year. I think that they're going to win it this year, surprise some people. They're too deep right now, and I think Marner and Matthews, especially Marner in a contract year, I think they're going to know, okay, this is it. This is it. We got to step up, or things are going to change. And I know they all love each other, love the city. I think this is the year where they finally bring it all together, and if they do, look out, because everybody's going to be trying to go to Toronto, and they could put a little run together if they do pull it off this year.
You see the healthy scratch Max Pacioretty? You see that's the big news, eh? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Was he healthy? Did he have a little bit of a something? Are they just trying to rest him? As he's, he hasn't played a lot lately. Yeah.
I think he was healthy.
I don't know. I didn't mind him. Watching the games, the games I've seen so far, I haven't minded him the way he's played. He's not the old Pacioretty by any means. So who knows what's going on there? They could have something else up their sleeve where, they have their eye on somebody else that they know is available. Maybe, who knows? But a little bit surprising to see that, honestly, because you kind of thought the guy's getting in his groove a little bit. A great depth player for the team who can move up the lineup if necessary. I'm not sure what was behind all that.
Well, as they say, and you know what I'm saying when I say this, do you think Montreal got it wrong? Do you think Vegas got it wrong? Do you think Carolina got it wrong? Do you think Washington got it wrong? You know what I mean? Anyways, Jared, we're out of time. This has been fun, man. Appreciate you. Keep in touch.
Thanks a lot, brother. You have a great day. We'll chat soon.
Thank you, man. Jared Dumba joining us to talk some NHL. If you have any comments on our discussion, fire them our way on the Alatura Skincare text line, 902-518-3033. And curling fans, rejoice. Kirk Myers is coming in next. We are live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, live streaming on YouTube, and, of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match. But for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors. There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life. Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It's a busy one today, and busy is good. By the way, folks, clear water, clear choice. Filter out the bad and taste the good with Culligan Water of Regina. Check out what they're all about at culliganregina.com. It's a big curling town. And Kirk Myers joins us to talk about the roaring game, the mixed doubles champion, Canadian champion of the roaring game as well. Hey, Kirk, how you doing, brother? Long time no see.
Good. Yeah, good to see you, Rod. Yeah, you keeping well?
Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. And I'm excited to be headed back to the 306 this weekend, doing some speaking in Wolseley, where they love curling up there, too. You know, I haven't started these curling interviews usually till the season of champions well into the new year, which is wrong because the season is underway. Would you mind playing the role of curling analyst for me today, just talking about what's gone on so far?
Well, she's been a busy season. Normally, I think the people in Wolseley and small town Saskatchewan usually start curling about middle of October, and it's been a lot of stuff going on already. There's been some team changes that you wouldn't expect. You know, in the last few years, we always talk about how teams are starting to change. You know, after one season, they get new players. One season, they get new players. Well, now it's even speeding up into the season. So the big news last week or a week or two ago was Gushu made a change at second, adding Brendan Botcher. But a couple weeks before that, Kevin Cooey made a change too after the first Bonspiel of the year. So it's crazy stuff we're seeing in the curling world. And then on the women's side, you know, it's Homan's up to her old tricks the last few years. Watching her play, she looks like the team to beat. And then Anderson's starting to turn things around too. They won the last slam. So some exciting stuff in curling, and we're just getting warmed up for the year.
Well, when you say that about Rachel, what I see is she's doing a lot of winning. And Carrie is too. So when you say she's up to her old tricks, it's that. It's playing on Sundays and cashing some big checks. But, you know, if you don't mind, in my time in Calgary the last couple of years, pity me, I spent a lot of time with Ben Hebert. And we talked about
sorry to hear that.
volatile.
That's a tough deal.
I know. Tell me about it. And we talked about this volatile world of curling. Is it just followed the lead of all the other sports? You know, Kirk, or how do you explain what's gone on?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's almost becoming like a broken record when we say that. You know, it's like at the end of the day, there's a lot on the line for these curlers. all of us curlers go on the road 8 months a year. The 4 months we're at home, we're working, pretty much all day and trying to get the best as we can be to be the best in the world. When you're putting that amount of time and energy into being the best you can be, you can't let anything stand in your way. So, I mean, to say that some people don't like seeing these team changes, well, you got to get used to it in curling. The sport has changed over the last 10, 15 years. It's not some guys, get together for a few bonspiels on the weekend, enter playdowns, might go to the Briar. Now it's a 12-month process where they are totally invested in that. And if they think there's even a small chance at getting a little bit better by adding another player or a different player or changing roles, it's going to happen. When you spend your whole life and all your time to get the best that you can be, you can't let anything stand in that way. And we're seeing that now. I mean, when you take a guy like Brad Gushu, who's been everywhere, won everything, his family is getting older. He wants to spend more time with his family. If he's spending time on the road competing and trying to get better, he's going to give himself the best chance. And if that means making a player change, it's going to happen. So you can hardly blame the teams for doing it, even though it's a shitty part of the game. But everyone says it's a shitty part of every sport, and that's just the way it is.
It is going on in every sport. That's the point. And to be honest, I don't know how you feel about this, but I don't mind that Curling Canada has updated the rules to reflect the way the game's changed. I feel they should be applauded for that. You're nodding your head already, so you obviously agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think, deep down in me, watching the Briar growing up as a kid, seeing Gerald Shimko play the Briar, or Bruce Cordy play the Briar with his, people that they played at the same club together. I mean, nostalgic-wise, I want to see that. I love the idea of that.
Boy, what just happened? Don't tell me somebody else logged. Okay, we got nobody else coming in. So I don't know what happened with it. Okay, let's remember where Kirk Myers was when his feed froze. That growing up, he would like to watch the Legends and the Dynasty. Okay, Chimko. Okay, that's where you were, Kirk. For whatever reason it froze. You were talking about growing up wanting to watch the Cordys and the Shimkos. Continue. And he froze again. Oh, there he is. What's up? We got you. You're live, Kirk.
I don't know. I don't think I got you, do I? There we go. We're back.
Well, we got you. Okay, yeah. You were in the middle saying growing up.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you said you loved watching Continue.
Exactly. We loved watching Gerald Shimko. We loved watching Bruce Cordy. We loved watching Sandra Schmerler with their 4 local players that played at the same club on a Tuesday night, go to the Briar, go to the Scotties, win it. Like, we loved that. That's what we loved as curlers growing up. But the reality is, if we want to win on the world stage, we needed to make those changes. Curling Canada needed to have that happen. If we were back to the old rules, we would get embarrassed on the world stage. We wouldn't have a chance at making anything happen at the Olympics, the World Championships, those sort of things. So with as good as the rest of the world is, these changes needed to happen, whether we like them or not. That's the way curling's going. Even though I think every curler growing up wanted to win the Briar, out of the Munster curling rink with 4 buddies from the Munster curling rink, but it's just never going to happen anymore. So that's just the way of the world sometimes.
Yeah, you don't need to rush. You're good now, unless you need to rush. But is this because the CEO of Curling Canada is Nolan Thiessen? Like, am I giving him too much credit for these changes? Did this happen before he took that chair?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know the details of that. I think the changes were in the works when Nolan took effect, but I also think Dave Murdoch, who's now the high performance coach from Britain, he's got a factor to play in that as well. And I think 2 of these high performance curlers, one from Great Britain and one from Canada, Nolan Thiessen, are coming together to start realizing that these changes need to be made. And I think they're doing a good job of kind of balancing the tradition of curling in Canada as well as the need to be the best on the world stage. So I think the credit probably goes to, as I see it, Dave Murdoch and Nolan Thiessen coming together and leading the group to make those changes.
Well, there you go. We had them both on the air last winter here, and I'll pass it along, Kirk. But how about your schedule? The mixed doubles game is as exciting as hell. To me, the most exciting. Talk about what you got going on this winter, please.
Yeah, we're starting to get loaded up, ready to go here. Where I'm actually at the Saville Center in Edmonton. It's one of the national training centers for Canada. So we're here for the next few days, kind of getting our slides back straight and getting ready to go. We've had one event this year already. We got to the final. This weekend is our second event. And then we play 3 more events before the Olympic trials, which are actually going on in over New Year's in January. So there'll be 16 teams playing to go to the Olympics in January, and we're one of 5 already qualified. So we'll hopefully have a good spiel season, try to work out some of the finer details that we've been working on in the last few years to get ready for those Olympic trials. And our goal is to go to the Olympics and win the Olympics. And reality is there's 15 other teams that are going to have something to say about that, but we're playing good. We're doing the things we need to do, and that doesn't mean we're going to win, but we're giving ourselves the best chance to do that. And we're really gearing our season towards that Olympic trials in beginning of January in Liverpool, Nova Scotia. So we're spending as much time as we can on the ice, spending as much time as we can with our coaches. And I'm telling you what, Rod, I'm not saying I'm an old man, but when I slide for 4 or 5 hours a day, the legs sure get a little sore, and I don't remember that happening about 5 years ago.
Well, you look better than ever. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. But for those that don't know,
you know how to make a guy feel good.
I know. But for those that are watching in the 31 U.S. states, or maybe those aren't familiar, in a minute or two, explain mixed doubles, please, because it's pretty radical. A lot of people saw it for the first time at the Olympics.
Yeah, to me, it's the perfect sport or the perfect discipline for people that are just getting into curling. It's way quicker. We play a game in about 1 hour and 15 minutes versus a 3-hour men's or women's game. A man and a woman play together on the same sheet of ice, and there's rocks in play to start. So people that are, bored at the beginning of an end, watching an end develop, the end is developed at the beginning of every end, no matter what. So there's lots of action. There's huge point swings, and there's only 2 players on the sheet, and the man and woman playing together. So in my opinion, it's way more exciting for the new fan to curling. And if you're, in the States, you're curious about curling, you're curious on what's going on, I implore you to check out a mixed doubles game. You're going to love it. And hopefully the United States can play Canada in the Olympic final when it comes to mixed doubles, because that'll be an exciting little finish.
Oh, would it ever, for sure. All right, Kirk, we'll let you get back to sliding. Good to see you, buddy, and thanks for the time today.
Good to see you too, Rod. You take care.
All right, champion curler Kirk Myers joining us from the Savas Center in Edmonton. Sports update and viewer takeover next. We're live on Game Plus TV, Key Radio, live streaming on YouTube, and also Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, Studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Lots of time left in this segment. It's Overtime, brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Are you looking for just the right place for your team bonding sessions and outings? Look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. With state-of-the-art equipment, spacious shooting lanes, and games for all ages, Overtime Hockey Lanes is the perfect destination to build your team. Whether they're from the Calgary area or if you're on a road trip from out of town, book your lanes today, 28th Street, Northeast Calgary. And they're very busy there, as I can see. So thank you to everybody for supporting our supporters, Overtime Hockey Lanes. It's funny, you see those palm trees, and that is the A1A highway right out front of our studio here. And you don't think hockey, do you? But there are two games tonight here in this state. The Vancouver Canucks are still chasing their first win of the season as they take on the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers tonight at Sunrise. Vancouver off to a sluggish 0-1-2 start. Across the state, the Lightning are home to the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. It's a 10-game slate in the NHL. Also tonight, the LA Kings visit the Montreal Canadiens. The Ottawa Senators host New Jersey, and Connor McDavid's Edmonton Oilers are at Nashville. Poll question today for EMJ Marketing. This is fantastic to me. Which team's in the most trouble? Which winless team's in the most trouble? Sharks, Canucks, Predators, or Avalanche? All our analysts we brought on today to talk about it say somebody different. We also have the poll up on our Instagram, but it's brought to you by EMJ Marketing. Go give us a follow on Instagram if you don't mind, at The Rod Pedersen Show. Just recouping everything that we've talked about here today. Alaterra Skincare text line. John Shanahan writes in. He's in Rosthern, South. Some say the home of Don Whitman, if that's true. The peerless CBC Hockey Night in Canada broadcaster. Anyways, John says, hey, Rod, the Pittsburgh Penguins should look at Vladar from Calgary. He needs a new contract. Is he good enough? I get you're right. And I'm sure they are. I would hope they're looking around. But Tristan Jarry's just not getting it done. And as a goalie guy, I just watched him last night. He was bad. How long do you wait? I think they've waited long enough. Colorado was looking for a goalie and hasn't changed anything. On the curling vein, Bob in Saskatoon writes in and he says, the greatest team ever, Rick Folks Club. Old Briars and Scotties were way better. Curling's obsession about Olympics is misguided. Well, here's what I say about that. Just go with it. Life is so much easier when you say, just go with it. You're welcome. Sports update, a Super Bowl rematch. Another London game and a first-place showdown in the NFC North highlight Week 7 in the National Football League. There are 6 home underdogs, too, and that includes tonight's matchup at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans as the 2-4 Saints host the 3-3 Denver Broncos. Denver's favored by 3. The New York Mets aim to even the National League Championship Series tonight after errors and a Shohei Ohtani homer helped the Dodgers win 8-0 last night and take a 2-1 lead. Over in the American League Championship Series, Aaron Judge and the Yankees look to push the Guardians to the brink, leading 2-0 in the series. It is really fascinating to me when you think about how these sports people are getting so far ahead of themselves. Everybody. You know, our analyst Andy Nilo the other day, who's the founder and CEO of Alapera Skincare, but he said the Subway Series is lining up beautifully. Oh, it was on Tuesday. Now the Dodgers have won 2 games and they lead the series. So that's just him. Mike Kelly last hour saying how everybody got ahead of themselves on Nathan Rourke. And what was the other quarterback he mentioned? Everybody's in a rush. Our sports updates are brought to you by Seat Giant. Stop paying U.S. dollars for games and concerts. Canadian-owned and operated with Canadians in mind. Super Bowl, college football, Taylor Swift, Justin Timberlake. We've got it all. Use promo code RPShow for 15% off at checkout. Check them out at seatgiant.ca. Man, it feels like a year ago that we had James Gallo on. Voice of the Moose Show Warriors. He lifted off the show with us. John in Edmonton writes in, he says, Rod, what do you think of Tom Brady's conditions of becoming a majority owner of the Vegas Raiders? I haven't read them. So if in the next 3 minutes you can put them in the chat here, I'll peruse them, John, but I don't know what they are. Didn't see that one. Cole's watching in North Dakota. He says, what are your thoughts on running up the score in high school football? I went to a North Dakota 6-man game Tuesday where the team I support won 100-3 to nothing in a 6-man consolation playoff. Whenever the opponent got close to scoring, our head coach would put the varsity defense back in. Junior varsity could have played more, was my thought. My thoughts are at least your team won. That's all. Cole says, I was less than impressed. Hey, I get it. But as they say, if you don't like it, stop them. Yeah, again, I didn't see the conditions, man. Oh, Tom Brady is not allowed to be at practices, interview players, or be at the venue. That's a little odd, but again, he really wants to be the owner. Here was my thing when I was the voice of the Rough Riders for decades. They wanted you at practice, but you weren't allowed to report on what went on there. So why do you want me here? I think Tom Brady's lucky he doesn't have to go to practice. That's what I think. Yeah. John says because of his gig with broadcasting. Yeah, I think he's lucky that he doesn't have to go to practice, that he's actually forced not to go to practice. My favorite day of the week was closed practices. So, again, Tom Brady comes out smelling like a rose. This is supposed to be a rule against him, and it's in his favor. Kirk in Toronto says, text next week after the Scullers clinch home field for the Eastern semifinal. Thank you, Ron in Calgary. We're out of time to get to yours, but we did read your comment earlier. See you Tuesday, everybody.
Who has more fun than us?